why they should, but I'm just telling you, lenders don't always close on time. Why don't they close on time? It may be stalled in underwriting, it may be stalled in drafting the documents, but do you guys know how many days the buyer has to have the documents, the loan documents, the closing disclosure, that 15-page CD? Does anybody know how long they have to have that in their hands before they can sign documents? Does anybody know? Ken said, I'm glad it was 3 fingers you held up at me, but 3 days, right? I've gotten the other one too, 3 days. So the guy tells me he's arranging everything that he's signing off on Friday. Now, if you don't know this, you don't sign in the morning and close that day, right? Generally, you have to sign the day before you close. Right, and the loan docs have to be out 3 days before you sign. You understand where I'm going with this. So if he's signing loan docs on Friday, that means it's not going to close on Saturday. They're not open on Saturday. It's not going to close on Friday. It's not going to close on Sunday. So now we rolled over to Monday. Movers were scheduled to come and pick up his stuff Saturday morning, right? You understand? His utilities, everything is being turned off and shifted. So my point for sharing that with you is, if you've got buyers, it's always better to close escrow earlier in the week. You understand? And you ought to tell buyers, and for that matter, sellers, this message: lenders don't always close on time. You should tell them that, right? Because if the seller is expecting Friday, I'm going to get the money, and then I'm going to make the payment, and then I'm going to have the movers, they need to understand that lenders don't always close on time, right? So if you want to close by Friday, you need to actually have the loan docs out, right? If you want to close by Friday, Monday, it would be, and if you look at some of the guidelines that the title companies has, they would rather it be the previous week. How do you know if you're going to close on time? Ask the loan agent, are the loan docs drawn? Has the CD been sent? And when the loan agent is sputtering and talking about the weather and everything else, ask them, has the CD been sent to the buyer yet? And if the answer is no, you're not closing for at least 3 days. You understand that? If the answer is no, you're not closing. I just wanted to share that because I've seen this come up a couple of times where people believe that the lender will close on time. Right? And I'm just telling you, they don't always close on time, right? In fact, right now, I would say about half of the time, they're like at least a day late. All right, but that's not what we were going to talk about today, but I thought I would share that. And yes, by the way, I did see that open houses are now going to be allowed again, right? And I've had agents already asking me about this. Does that mean you could do an open house this weekend? Right? Did you see the CAR email, all of those, right? You read your CAR email, right? Everybody's nodding, I'm sure, right? Sure you are, right? It went out yesterday and it said that they've changed the guidelines to allow open houses. Of course you all read that, right? Because you know, you're all members. So I've already been asked the question by agents that I'm working with listings, can I do an open house this weekend? What's the answer? Anybody? Nobody else is talking but me. I'm talking, Arthur, you can hear me. And the answer is no. Why not? If the California Association of Realtors says I can, why can't I do an open house this weekend? And the answer is because the multiple listing service hasn't turned on the feature yet, right? And in order for you to schedule an open house, I guess you could hold one, right? Because you want to. But in order to schedule an open house, in order for it to go out on all of those websites, it has to be in the MLS. Right? That's how we syndicate open houses. I know there's other ways of doing it, but that's the easy way. And the MLS is not turning on that feature until they work out the procedures for doing an open house. When we start doing open houses again, those of you that are on my team or in coaching or in my EXP group, I'm going to be arranging open houses for agents to do once that's a thing. I have a system that works really, really well. Really, really well. All right. But that also is not what we were going to talk about today. But since I had your attention, I thought, I would. What I wanted to talk about today was marketing how to do something, and actually to even perhaps be to a point where you could send something out. Now, in other classes we're going to do, and by the way, I just got a commitment from Brian Clark and B. Known University that every week we're going to be doing a segment on how to use KV Core to do stuff, right? But right now we're going to be talking more about content. You need to have a database. Let's say you want to be successful in real estate. What should you do? First thing is you should get everybody that you know, everybody that's in your phone, everybody that's in your email, everybody that's a friend on Facebook, a LinkedIn connection, everybody on your TikTok, everything you can, and you want to put them into a database. And every time you meet somebody or interact with somebody, a vendor or anybody else, you want to collect their information and put it into a database. You understand your database is your business, right? It is your business. So once you've done that, the question is, what do you do with them? And the answer is you need to connect with them in a regular, consistent way throughout the year. My suggestion is that you email them or mail them, right? If you don't have their email, but email is really the way to go, twice a month. That you call them at least once every 3 months, that you send handwritten notes to people that you've talked to after 3 months, and that you do something on people's birthdays. I'm going to do a special class just on that at some point. But twice a month, you ought to send somebody something, right? And those two impressions, sometimes referred to as touches, but that sounds a little creepy. But those two impressions, one of them ought to be what's happening in the market, a real estate market update. That ought to be one of them. Number two ought to be something about what's going on in the community, and typically related to holidays, right? So for example, is there a holiday in May? Does anybody know, are there any holidays that we haven't had yet? Are there any big holidays in May?
Yes, yeah. Memorial Day.
Already, but so Memorial Day is coming up. Are there oftentimes events and things going on in your community related to those particular holidays? Is there any way you could find what those are? For example, if you're to go to this special website called Google and you typed in Memorial Day events, Bay Area 2021. How about that? Now, Google's getting better at this. Notice Google has online events. They're starting to come up with their own events. So there's services. And as we get closer, you can see Eventbrite has them. And so as we get closer, and I'm going to put out one for the Silicon Valley at least area, which I'm going to share with people that are in my coaching program. But wherever you are, I'll bet if you typed in Memorial Day events in Pleasanton, Memorial Day events in Oakland, you get the idea, you're going to find events, right? And I'm going to kind of show you today a little bit about how I take that content and put it into a newsletter, all right? But let's talk about, what is it, the 13th? Usually I do this quicker. So once the month changes, usually within 7 days, although now it's almost 14, I would like to do something about what's happening in the market, all right? That we can put in a newsletter, that we can email to people, that we can publish in social media, we can put it on our webpage, right? Those are the most common uses of it. All right, so let's talk about how to do that. Now, first of all, I'm going to when we talk about a database, one of the things that one of my pet peeves, as it were, regarding a database is that most real estate agents first of all, don't have one. Right, and then many of the agents that do have one, they don't have very much data, right? What I see lacking in agent databases is data. But let me give you an example, right? So here are a couple, I have actually two of me and two other people with the name Devlin in my database. So this is using KV Core. This is not necessarily, this is just an example. But let's say whoever this clown is, I happen to know that he lived in, right, this says Morgan Hill, but we could pick any other city. Let's say this person lived in Mountain View. So what I could do is I could, no, I don't want to do that yet. I want to go back to profile details. That's not it. Alerts, files, transactions, timeline. Oh, I know why, because Zoom is hiding it. Okay. So over here, there's a thing that says more actions. And under more actions, there's something that says send valuation. Now, this is a KV Core thing. If you don't have KV Core and you want it, talk to me later. You may have something like this in the software you have, but we're going to click on send valuation. You can see I've already created some. One of them is about property alerts, market reports. So let me click on add. And where was I going to be? It says here, where do I want to? I've got two of them right now. Search for location. How about Mountain View, right? Just for fun, city of Mountain View. I found that. Send a report every seven days. I could say every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, right? Whatever you feel like, maybe 3 weeks is enough. When I click on add, what is going to happen is that's going to be sent automatically to me every 3 weeks, or whichever number of weeks I picked, right? I could set it up every week, but you don't want to be too annoying to people, right? Every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. So what that's done is, let's say when I'm talking to somebody, I ask them the question, where do you live? Where are you interested in, finding out about, what's going on in real estate? And they tell you, and we know that they're a seller. One of the things about your database is you need to be able to classify people. Are they a likely buyer? Are they a likely seller? Are they a likely investor? Are they a likely recruit, right? What are they? What class are they? And if they're a buyer or a seller, what area are they interested in? Now, if I know that, I can create that's the wrong one. Sorry about that. I had a feeling the moment I clicked on the wrong one. So I'll show you what this would look like. This is called the squeeze page, and it's called the market report. And so just to show you what it would look like, I type in mountain. I'm not doing well today with typing. MOUNTAINVREW. Right. There we go. City of Mountain View. And by the way, when I click on generate, this is going to generate a long and a short link, or the same link, that will give me a link to that report. And if I just copy it, this is just so you could see it, and I paste it in, that's what it's going to look like. Notice it's asking me to register. Right, and you could turn that off, but if I'm emailing it to people, then I would have turned that off. But if I'm posting this somewhere, then I would not turn it off. Right, but I'm going to, anyhow, sure, I'm going to, just for fun, right, I'm going to register, because it'll send me an email saying you registered. So this is what it looks like. Market report for Mountain View, California. 252 homes for sale in the last 30 days. That's up. Isn't that nice? New to the market, 153. This is related to some of the messaging we might have. It appears that inventory is picking up. Now, it's still crazy out there. I've written offers this week. 2 different properties, 2 different buyers, and we're still in the market, right? One of them had over 30 offers. This was a Blossom Valley home, and they countered 13. We offered over $200,000 over. We offered almost 25% over list price. 25%, and we did not get it. Days on market, and this is an average, has gone down. Average home value, 10 price reductions, really. Price per square foot, here's some homes, some popular listings. You understand that's not too shabby, right? That's not too shabby. And the point is that if I'm talking to somebody and I know where they're interested, I could create one of these and it would automatically be sent to them every month. And then that would relieve me maybe of one contact, one touch, one impression for that month. Is everybody with me? Now, I know other software, Top Producer has something like this called Market Snapshot, but you understand that didn't require, that wasn't very hard. And in fact, I've even borrowed this content to use in a newsletter or something else. But let's talk about what would work better. And I'm going to go through a bunch of different scenarios from easy peasy, right? Let's start with really easy, right? Easy. How would you easily find information about what's going on in the market? First of all, you have to know what market are you interested in. Are you interested in the national market, the state market, the local market, and what does local market mean? See, I'm in the Bay Area, and there's a big difference between Santa Clara County and Alameda County and San Mateo County in terms of a lot of different things, right? But we're all sort of in the same area, so the market statistics for one might be different than the others, right? And then it becomes, well, how do I do what's going on in the Bay Area? That's possible, but for most people, what's relevant to them is something that's very local, hyper local if possible. But where would I find free market statistics? What's going on? And the answer is the Board of Realtors and the MLS. Let's just start with that. And I'll give you an example. One of the things I get a lot of this from is Twitter, right? I may be following different people, but anyhow, on Twitter. And so on Twitter, I have the California Association of Realtors, the National Association of Realtors. I subscribe, and here, for example, is a California Housing Affordability Q1 2021. And it's something that was put out by the California Association of Realtors. If I click on that, there's the image. If I copy the image, I now could paste this image into social media. I could put it in a blog post. I could put it in an email, right? If I want California stuff, if I just keep looking, here's a little video. There is a way of stealing it. I'm not going to show you. Here's other videos and things like that. I'm not going to get into how to steal videos this time. We'll talk about stealing other things. Now, one of the other groups that I follow, and right now it's not that different nationally versus state versus local. The differences are in the prices here, the prices. But if I put in National Association of Realtors, and one of the things that I find, I've already used a couple. Here's stuff that is going on, NAR forum on the housing market. Boy, a lot of stuff has happened since I started this morning. Home prices are up in most areas, Q1. And what I'm looking for is to finding statistics. All right, now let me show you something. I've got this comes out every Friday. And for those of you that are interested, every Friday, the National Association of Realtors, and by the way, you will find this tomorrow, Friday, in the National Association of Realtors Facebook feed, LinkedIn feed, Twitter feed. And this is last week's. And it's the 2021 Weekly Housing Market Monitor from May 10th to the 13th, put out by the NAR. There's an image which I have shamelessly stolen in the past. And then there's stuff, right? Virtually every metro experienced home price rise in quarter. And there's I'm not as thrilled about this particular image because it's, doesn't show California. Here's about pending sales. And by the way, a lot of these statistics about price increases and pending sales are pretty close to what ours is. Right? It's just that this is a national one, and I tend to skip the sections that talk about what the median price, but you see here are graphs and charts, existing home sales up 17%, graphs and charts, 30-year mortgage rate falls, graphs and charts. For those of you that are like inflation, graphs and charts, all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to share something that I normally don't. This is one of my secret, one of the secret things is once you find something like this and you're like, wow, there's a lot of stuff here that I would use. If you download it, and I've already done this a couple of times, but you'll see. And by the way, this will be videotaped for those of you that, are willing to pay $5 to watch the replay. So anyhow, I've saved it as a PDF on my desktop. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a special website, right? Not quite the dark web, but a special site. And this, by the way, is a very useful site for you to know about. And it's called Zamzar, Z-A-M-Z-A-R, right? Zamzar. And Zamzar is a particularly useful site because what Zamzar is going to allow me to do is to convert almost any file for free. So I'm going to click on Add File. I'm going to go to that PDF that we were given by the National Association of Realtors, and I'm going to convert it to a document file. And I'm going to say convert it now. And there it is, converting right in front of our eyes. And then I'm going to download it. And I've already done 2 today. Create a free account. I actually have one. I just don't usually bother to log in. But anyhow, your account, reactivate your account. Why not? I'm not going to do this right now. You can do 2 a day without having to go through this. I have a free status, but let me see, is it going to, I've already done this. And this is what it looks like when it's done. Right? I'm just going to show you that. This is what it looks like when it's done. Now, that doesn't, this is a Microsoft Word document, right? That may not look, fancy, the image got lost, but this is the magic part. So what I typically do with this, if I'm going to create a blog post, is I'm going to copy this and back into, and I've already done this a couple of times today, but I'll just show you. If I go into my blog, and by the way, there's value in having a blog. And if your company doesn't provide one, then you're at the wrong company, but you could get a free one with Blogger or somebody else. So this is the KV Core blog. I click on add a blog post. I'm pasting in Weekly Housing Monitor, May 10th to 13th. I put in a hyphen, and then I go back, way too many things open. I go back here, and I've already done some of this, so I'm going to skip down to one that I haven't done because it won't like it if I do one that I've done. But let's say here. And so I'm going to copy this part, and I'm going to go to my blog, and I'm going to paste that in because I want the title. And now this is the cool part about running it through Zamzar, and you can try other things, but you're going to see what I mean. I'm going to copy the text. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to right click, so I paste it as plain text. I get rid of things that aren't necessary. By the way, generally, because it was in Word, Zamzar formats it so that it's the words wrap and everything else. Now I'm going to go back here to the Zamzar. I'm going to just click on the image. I copy the image. I paste the image. Is everybody seeing what I'm doing, right? And then I'll go back, and if there's a second image, and sometimes there's a second image, I'll copy that image, and I'll go back and, oops. How about that? All right. And then there's the second image. All right. And if I, I may have already published this one, so it may not like it, but if let's just see what it does. All right. And so what does that look like? Now there's a method, a madness to the method, right? But if I go over to, I'm gonna find, where is, oh, down here. I have to admit, I've moved things around. Weekly Housing Market Monitor, May 10th. This is the one I just did. If I click on it, weekly, this is what it says. Here's the words, here's the graph. My picture's a little small, but other than that, it looks good, right? I don't really know why it's there. Now, the reason for putting things in a blog article is, one, it's possible that somebody might read it, although by searching, it's unlikely that anybody's going to find it, right? And the reason is because of just the nature of it. It's just going to be very difficult for somebody to find it. So I'm not necessarily doing it so that somebody who does a search is going to find it. What I'm going to do is use the blog to hold content that I might refer to later. So for example, if I were going to send a newsletter, let's say to people, I was going to send a newsletter, what I would do is I would take this line here, existing home sales up 17% from 1 year ago as homes typically sold in 17 days. I would copy that. And in my newsletter, I'd be pasting that text, but then I would have it hyperlinked to the blog post that actually explains the text. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because how much information do we put into a newsletter? If we put in all of the graphs and all the charts and all the explanation and all that we want, the newsletter is so long, hardly anybody's ever going to read it. Most people are going to be happy just seeing the title, existing home sales up 17% from 1 year ago. They're like, okay, I get it, right? Homes sold in 17 days, right? You understand that sentence is, for most people, all they really care about. So by going through and getting that part of each of the pages with maybe a little bit of an explanation if it's necessary, I can structure a newsletter that, and I'll show you what one looks like. Would that be nice? So by the way, I'm going to show you an example which all of you probably have received. But by the way, I also got from the MLS 58 minutes ago, market data reports. And I was going to click on those later, but I'll click on them now. There's a chance that you may not want to use, I don't necessarily use these graphs and charts, but if you wanted some information that you could put in a newsletter or a blog post right now, you can take this information from the Association of Realtors. Like, so for example, in Santa Clara County, if I were going to be doing a newsletter, I might just copy that stuff there, right? And if I copy it, and let's see how that works, and I just go to here, something, it doesn't look as well because it lost some of its formatting. I would have to go through and make it look nice. By the way, if I took that PDF and sent it to Zamzar, they would send it back all nice and formatted for me, but this is just a little bit of work to do, right? And so you'd go through and clean it up by putting in, right? Does everybody see what I mean, right? So you ought to do something, right? This is the easy button, right? If it's local, copy it from the MLS. County-wide, you see most of the Board of Realtors have their own things. I'll show you an example. And again, it varies by the Board of Realtors. If I go over here to, and I type in San Mateo Association of Realtors. Let me just see, what do I get? Here is Silvar, I haven't looked at there, Samcar. And so here's that housing affordability, right? Free graphic. They're having a class. Look at this guy. Look at this. San Mateo County home sales, April 2021. It's an infographic, right? It's an infographic. And you could copy the image. You could download it. And by the way, it is possible with a little bit of work for you to modify this. Maybe I might as well go full rogue on you guys. So if I save the image and I'm just, this is just confession, I guess. sometimes I add my information into the image. Like, for example, I might, if I wanted to use pieces of this, I might go through and take out the single family residential. In other words, I might crop it so that I might crop that. And I know I'm not supposed to do this, but does everybody understand and borrow that image? And I might you could put your contact information, or you could leave it where it says where it came from. So most of the associations do this. They have something like this. The California Association of Realtors eventually will do something. The NAR puts out that report every week. Every Friday they put out that report, right? And it's a constant source of information. Just so to be clear, if you borrow, that's I think the right word, from the MLS that you're a member of, the California Association, your local association, or the National Association, it is unlikely that anybody's ever going to complain because you're paying dues to all of those organizations, right? But does everybody understand that's easy? If you really want easy, you could even go to our friends at Redfin, right? And you could type in Santa Clara, let's just say Santa Clara County. And if you go over to Market Insights, you're going to see here is information already. And you could borrow this perhaps by doing a screen capture program, right? Just to be clear, lots of easy ways of getting stuff that you could share. Don't overdo it. One of the things that I get, I'd have to go through my email and find one, which I'm not motivated enough to, but one of the things that I often get is agents will get this, here, I'll show you. Santa Clara County Association of Realtors, because I get a lot of this. Let me just show you. All right, housing market stats. So what agents send me is this, right? Agents will copy like this whole thing, paste it in an email and send it out to people. I think that's insane, right? And if I'm sorry if you guys are, well, I've been doing that, people like it. I'm sorry, right? It just came out. First of all, there's way too much data, right? You understand? I understand copying and pasting this into an email is really easy. Some people just take an image of it and paste the images in. By the way, text is better in a newsletter than an image. Now, we've made some images for you, which I'm going to show you, but images, a lot of email clients don't automatically load images. So if your content is images that you've copied and pasted into the email, a lot of people won't even see it. So it works better if it's actually text because it'll go through. This has got all the different cities, which I probably don't care about. It doesn't tell me, is this a up or down? You understand, for many people, they want to know, is the market getting better? Is it getting worse? Is inventory going up? Is it going down? Is my house value going up, down? Is it easier for me to buy a house or not? Is that going up or down? And you see, just pasting this in, that doesn't actually tell me, doesn't really tell me, what was it like last month? What was it like last year? So one of the things that you guys are going to find in the document library, the document library is something that people that are in my coaching program or my or an EXP is group or any of those people is, and this is in the document library. I put out something called TMIRE, which stands for This Month in Real Estate. Actually, my assistant Raw does it. Here's the spreadsheet from which it was based. There's a copy of the image and a copy of the PowerPoint that we use for Alameda County, Santa Clara County, and San Mateo County. And if it's easy for us to do one for another county, let me know. But let me just show you what it would look like if let's start with the Santa Clara County PNG, right? So this is just an image. And which means that you could copy the image and put it in an email, but then remember, images don't work as well because they may be blocking images. You could post this on social media, right? You could put it in a blog article, and this is a snapshot about what's happening with sales. Now, the 130, now, and by the way, we're going to talk about videos in a few minutes. I've made videos off of just a slide like this, right? Like a YouTube video. And by the way, if you're going to be doing market reports and newsletters and things like that, a video would be really nice, right? Which would mean you could create a YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. You'd make videos, but I've made videos just on this slide with a little highlighter. And what I'd be pointing out, what I would be saying about this is notice that sales are up 139% year over year. Doesn't that sound impressive? Anything going on last year in April? Anything weird happening in April of last year? There was a virus, right? You may have heard about it. So that doesn't really show a meaningful number, right? Because April wasn't, and I would say this in a video, right? 30% since last month, that's a little bit more meaningful, right? Because it's saying that the number of sales are actually going up. Prices are up 14% year over year, up 2% last month. Notice those numbers are very, very close to what the numbers are for the NAR, for the National Association, which is why sometimes I don't necessarily break it down into county level necessarily, but I simply say inventory is down or is going up, prices are up, whatever. But if you want to talk about median price, then you need to break it down by county and even further. So the median price was 1,375. That includes the combined condos, townhomes, and single family homes, right? So if you're in my group, you could just post this. If you're like, I don't like it, I'd like to make my own, well, this is a PowerPoint. So you could download the PowerPoint and all of these things, you could go in and you could change them yourself if you wanted to, right? But this is, in my view, a good snapshot. Where do we get mortgage rates? We get it from like bankrate.com. We just go look, right? Now, this is not a sophisticated thing to do. How many sales were there last month? How many sales were there the month before? How many sales were there a year before, right? You know, you could write down those numbers and you could make your own, and then that would give you something. Now, let's say you really want to get into this, right? Which is my kind of person. So, and your MLS, I understand there's different software. It looks a little bit different. But one of the things I always do once it changes month is I would look at the statistics. So I'm going into Matrix and I'm going to go to stats. And you can do it by city, zip code, or marketing area. And I'm going to go through an example. By the way, I had a guy talk to my group as like a guest speaker a while ago, and what he was doing is every month, and you know, he would go through all of the different marketing areas in our MLS, every one of them, just about, right? I mean Santa Clara County at least, and he would do a market update for Blossom Valley, mostly just text, right? Same kind of stuff. He'd do one for Santa Teresa, one for Willow Glen, Almaden, you get the idea, and he did that every month. And so one of the people in my group asked him, do you ever get any business from this? And he said, no, not very much. I only do maybe 2-4 transactions a year from people reading my posts. That's all, right? That's it, right? Just 2 to 4 a year. Now, I'll bet some of you are thinking, that sounds pretty good. You know, 2 or 4 transactions from posting stuff about what's going on in the market. Right. And by the way, you know, the question somebody's going to ask you if we ever get to meet people in person again, they're going to ask you, how's the market? Huh? How's the market? And then you're going to say something, you know, like, you know, unbelievable, or it depends. And then they say, great, I'm in Alum Rock. How's the Alum Rock market? And you're like, oh, I don't know. Right. But if you were going through your MLS and looking at what's happening in each of the different areas, you might actually know. But let's look at an example. Let's say I'm going to do Santa Clara County, right? Which is, now, by the way, a lot of times, I haven't done this in a while, but let's say I might do a city, like, let's say I live in Morgantown, right? I do. Oops, which I don't know why I'm putting that there. So just don't know why. But how about that, right? And I want to do residential. There aren't going to be enough. I'm going to stick with the county for now, just because I don't want to vary. I'm going to click on residential, single family condo and townhome, right? Santa Clara County, residential, single family county, condominium and townhome. I go to customize. I go to time frame. I go to custom. I go to month. I pick last month twice, April. I'm going to go down to statistics, and I usually start with the bottom, number of sales. I'm going to group it by building type. I'm going to go to advanced options. I'm going to include prior years, and I'm going to sort it by the current year. I'm going to pause a second. All right. Customized, custom time frame, April, 2021, 2021, number of sales, building type, and I want to include 1 year. By the way, I could have included up to 9 years, but for this purposes, and I've highlighted those things. Now that I've done, I click on generate. And what you get is a graph that looks like this. Now, I have seen agents take a screenshot of this and post it and stuff. I guess that's better than nothing, right? I'm a little too, anal for that sort of thing. So I click on data, and I usually just copy this. Although if we click to start with as export as a CSV file, it pretty much does the same thing. So this is what pops up, right? And it's in Excel. And I usually, because I like to see things orderly, let me see. This is getting annoying. I go to format, Autofit column width. There we go. Right now, I'm going to leave that. Then let me just do 2 of them, and then I'll show you what. Whoops, I'll show you what's what. All right, so I'm going to do a second one, and the second one is going to be median price, and I'm going to click on generate. And now I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to go back to my Excel spreadsheet, which is someplace here. All right. And I'm going to paste special, and there it is. All right. Now, I'm going to up here type in the word difference, and here the word percent, hit return. This equals that number minus that number. And percent equals the difference divided by the old total. And I'm going to let it know that that is a percent. And then I drag it down. And by the way, when I do this, I go through virtually everything, right? That's all those different choices. And I run the numbers and I just paste them and I drag that formula down. Now there's stuff that looks like garbage, so I clear that. And what I usually do is I've copied this and I just go through and paste it, right? I also, just because I'm that way, I don't like that RES period. So I copy that and I go to find and replace and I get rid of them all. So I've already, by the time I'm doing the formula and getting rid of the RIS part, by the time I'm doing that, I've added all of the different things I'm interested in analyzing as statistics, right? All of them. And I've made these little tables. Now, this could be cleaned up, sales number of 2020. I usually would say sales, just sales in 2020 and 2021. And I need to make sure we tell everybody we're talking about April. But to give you an idea of what I do with this is I copy it, and then in a PowerPoint presentation, And I'm going to just make a new slide. I paste it in. And I just, because I'm lazy, will pick something like this, something like that. You know, I don't spend a lot of time on formatting, but what I usually will do is, because I have these issues, you know, I'm just going to make that like that. All right. So, and now that this doesn't look as nice, usually it formats better because I've done more formatting. I'll show you what I mean, but it usually looks like, this is one from March. What it looks like is something like this: number of sales, median price, sales to list price ratio, price per square foot, months of inventory, median days to sell, number of active listings. Hey, how you doing? Right, with right, so something like that. Now, all of these things, the thing about PowerPoint that I like, and I would like that to be like this. The thing about PowerPoint that I like is any one of these, I could go up here to File, and I could go to Export, and what one of my choices, oops, that's not the right, I'm not even doing this in the right place. Here, let me go over here, save a copy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a PNG file, which is a graphic file, and I'm going to probably put it someplace else. So what's going to happen is, if I do this, is it's going to export every slide as an image, all slides. Every slide is an image. So what I now have are images for all those different segments. And I'm all over the place. I know. Let me see if I can find them. I don't know where it went, but it's someplace here. So what I want to do is I want to take those slides and I'll make a video, right, where I use the PowerPoint presentation, and I'll go through and I'll talk about what's happening in the market using those slides. But also, once the slides are converted into an image, then I can, here, it must be here someplace. Here. Looks like the file's been, don't need to do that right now. But everybody, I think you see what I'm going at. Any one of these slides, I could make it as an image, right? And then I could put them in a blog post. I could post it on social media. I could put it in the newsletter. And you can make a video. My recommendation is that you learn to make videos on this. So other things, notice and there are examples that I've done in the past in the document library. I pretty much go through all the different things here. I go through what is the sales price to list price ratio, and I break it down because this will do it very quickly. Single family condos and townhomes this month, last year, and away we go. All right. Are there any, you guys are talking too much. That may be a good thing, I'm not sure. Are there any questions about what we're doing, or? All right.
Hello.
I hear.
Hi, this is Jalili. Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned that it's because I just joined the meeting. You mentioned you make a video, right?
Right.
And where are you going to post the video? Like in social media? Is this like a webinar, or what is the angle? I'm sorry, I just arrived a little late.
No, that's fine. I haven't gotten to that. But first of all, I have a YouTube channel. Right now, my YouTube channel is really more designed for, I'm a recruiter. I don't know if that may shock some of you, but I'm a recruiter. And so a lot of my videos are designed for agents, right? But I have a YouTube channel. I have a decent number of subscribers. It's been going up. I haven't looked recently, but it's way more. I have 1,250 subscribers. And I have way too many videos. I mean, I have a lot of videos, several hundred videos. So that would be, and I'll give you, if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, there's a person named Karen Carr. And there are a lot of things about how to do YouTube. Karen Carr is in Georgia. She has 2 channels. One of them is where she's essentially trying to sell stuff to real estate agents on how to make a YouTube. But if you look for Georgia Coast Homes, you're going to see what a good YouTube channel.
Alexa, Alexa on the best. Which city in Georgia is the best?
So notice that her YouTube channel for I want to sell real estate looks different than her YouTube channel I want to sell real estate agent stuff, right? And so she's talking about relocation, and notice Georgia Coast Homes, not a generic term, right? You understand, not I can sell your home by Mike, not that, something geographically specific. Because what are the 3 biggest search engines? Number 1, Google, right? Number 2 search engine in the universe is YouTube. Anybody know what number 3 is? Where people type in searches?
Zillow?
No. Zillow's only for houses.
Instagram, Facebook.
What was the question?
What's the number 3 search engine? Number 1 is Google, number 2 is YouTube. Where do people type in
Pinterest?
search?
It'd
What?
be Facebook.
What did she
Facebook?
say, Yanni?
Pinterest?
And give the lady a cigar, she wins the prize. Pinterest. Pinterest is number 3, right? Videos and images. I'm just saying, at some point I'm gonna have somebody talk about Pinterest, but I'll bet that Karen Carr has Georgia Coast Homes Pinterest too. But notice how she's made it specific to a geographic area. So if you're looking to sell real estate in the Inland Empire, as an example, you would be making a YouTube channel about the Inland Empire, right? If you're doing it for Silicon Valley, you'd make one about Silicon Valley. And then here are a bunch of videos, examples of the ones that she's doing. A lot of them are about relocation. She's in a market where a lot of people move in, right? There's military and things like that, but you can get an idea of, of what people are doing. So once you've made the video, you have various ways of sharing it. Easiest is to put it on YouTube. But in an email, you could embed the video by using third-party software. I have software that would allow me, if I were making, they've been having issues, maybe it's not working today. It's not working today, I've noticed that, but this one is, that little button down here is called Loom. Now this, I pay something for Loom, but Loom is a really cool video recording. And notice I can insert a Loom recording into Gmail, right? I can insert it into Gmail. By the way, the Loom recording can be exported as an MP4 file and I can upload it to my YouTube channel. I'm just saying. And by the way, for those of you that are EXP KV core types, right? Let's say you're one of those, and we've created, I have a lot of people in here. Here are my different choices. One of my choices is, oops, here I have to, is a video message. Here we go. I knew it was there. So my choice is, if I want to connect with people in my database, to send everybody an email, send everybody a text, or send everybody a video message. And built into KV Core is a version of what's called BombBomb, which is a video, embedding video into an email program. You don't have to pay extra for it. The full version of BombBomb, which is requires it to spend money, has more whistles and bells. But in KV Core, you can record a video and you can send it out to everybody, right? And where you can explain what's going on in the market. And that, by the way, works, right? I'm just saying, you're going to find that that works. All right. But video is the thing, right? You really ought to, get used to making videos. I've had people say I don't look good on video. I'm always tempted to say, look, that's just how you look. I'm sorry. That's I have to live with this. So make a video. Loom is a cool program, costs something. There are free programs that'll make up to 15 minutes of video, but you don't need that long. There's free programs that'll record video for up to 5 minutes without putting even watermarks and things like that. You make videos, you start posting the videos, you start sharing the videos, and then you get better at it as time goes on. All right, so statistics, it'd be good to know the market. If you've got time, it wouldn't hurt to post. Now, one of the things about videos is it's sometimes useful to see if anybody is searching. For example, I used to make Morgan Hill videos, right? And I just want to show you something. So here's Morgan Hill, California. So moving to Morgan Hill, Caroline Hobbs. How you doing, Caroline? She made a video, right? Now, 9 months ago, 2.5 thousand subscribers. That's not bad. Pros of cons of moving to Morgan Hill and Gilroy by Krista. She had 472 views. She did that 3 months ago. Morgan Hill, pros and cons. Caroline Hobbs, that's the first person up there. She's got 781. Here's the best of California, Amgen Tour. That's not really moving to Morgan Hill. Notice how some of the same people are making, like I see 2 people that are making Morgan Hill videos. Maybe I ought to start doing that again. Here's a listing in Morgan Hill, but where I'm going with this is you might want to have a video newsletter. And I would always look to see, are there people searching for it? And do the people that have similar videos, are they getting a lot of views? And that's not bad. This one in particular, it's been 9 months, but 2,500 views. Now, there was a big increase in the number of people interested in moving to Morgan Hill with the pandemic. But you understand pros and cons. So if you're interested in ideas for this sort of stuff, you go to YouTube, you search for other agents that are doing things, you look for ones that have a lot of views, right? And what you're going to do is listen to them. Like what I would be doing if I wanted to muscle in on this.
Hi everyone, my name is Caroline Hobbs and I'm your local
Hi Caroline. No, I mean this
go-to real estate expert for Morgan Hill.
Let's just see, what does she have?
$75.
So
a community is made up of neighborhoods of families.
So that last thing where the couple is walking through, that's called a B-roll. And as you get a little more effective at this, that's a free video. There's a bunch of sites where you can download them, where you just search for somebody in a winery and they found the video and she downloaded the video and she added that as a background to her talking. That requires editing, right? Or editing software or hiring somebody to do the editing. But you can see as I look through here are videos of different things. Most of this is probably stock photography, stock stuff that she found. She pasted it together. She may have taken some of her own. That looks like a stock photo of, I'm not going to say it, but it looks like a stock photo, right? And then people are making comments, right? That's something else you ought to be doing, and we ought to talk about. How is this useful? Does anybody have any questions about this? I'm not sure if I've lost everyone.
Michael, this was great. Thank you very much. I had a quick question about KV Core, and how, in terms of privacy and the cost, if you can comment on that, if this is a good time.
Well, I know about privacy. KV Core is software that integrates a web page, landing pages, customer relationship management, blogging, and all of that together. When you join EXP, right, then there's $85 a month is the total monthly fee, and that includes a KV Core subscription. So that it doesn't cost anything other than that. You could buy KV Core yourself, but it costs about $500 a month. Right. All right. So did anybody hear anything that you could use now? This is, you're supposed to say, oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yes, Michael, this is great. And I just want to say thank you for changing your webinars to Zoom so we can interact. This is awesome.
All right. Yeah, I'll keep doing that. I did it for a while, but nobody would turn their camera on or talk. Right. And I was like, you know, well, so we've got a better looking group now than we did then.
Michael, in-person classes, are they getting open or no?
They're not open yet. Open houses aren't even, they're going to be doing open houses soon, but they're not doing that yet. So we'll see.
But are you having it in-person classes training also or no?
I don't have any plans to do that in the near future because that's still not a thing that they're allowed. But if I would be doing it, it would be doing it at this time. I'm gonna, Valentina, we've met a few times. If you need to talk to me, we can, right? We're not that far away, but the association, most people are going to be doing training using a Zoom or something for a while.
Yeah, the California Association of Realtors, they sent an email yesterday, a mass email, stating that open houses, I think they're going to be open soon, like now. I did not really read it because I don't have any listings at the moment, but if you guys check, they actually wrote about it, just to let you know.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit at the beginning. The MLS hasn't opened up yet so that you could schedule an open house, which is a practical thing, because even if you could technically do one, that doesn't mean you have to be able to put it in the MLS in order for anybody to know. And once this becomes a thing, those of you that are in my coaching program or part of my group, I have a system for getting open houses. And as soon as that becomes a thing again, I'll be showing you and I'll be helping you get open houses to do and what to do with them once you've got them. But that may still be a little while before that's a big thing. All right, so what I think you ought to do, those of you that are, remember the document library, there was an example of an image, right? And you ought to, in your calendar, book time, and I would recommend at the beginning of every month, within the first week of every month, where it's a reminder that you're going to run the statistics for the areas you care about. You're going to look, are sales up or down? Is average and median price up or down? Is the list price to sales price ratio up or down? Is the number of days on market up or down? Is the amount of inventory up or down? Are the number of new listings up or down, right? And then, by the way, sometimes, let me just do this. This will be another bonus. Right, another bonus. So let's say that I've been going around and doing some research. And here, let me go. I just remembered I have to turn this back on. All right, how about this? So let's say I've been going around doing research and I found an article about how market inventory could increase in 2021. By the way, I'm having in a week or two, Nora Guerra from Freddie Mac is going to speak to all of us virtually about what's happening with inventory in the state of California. I also have some snippets here from some articles that I found. When is the housing market going to crash? And I'm going to actually do this in a different order, like maybe this. All right. So what I want to show you is how I make a nice looking, I think it's nice looking. Actually, my assistant Raw usually does it. How do I make a newsletter? And I guess I'm going a little long today, but let me I'll do an example. So I create a table when is the housing market going to crash? And then I might take this here and paste it in over there. And then on this side, what I'm going to do is go to Google. And if this makes you weird, then you can go to a site that'll give you the ability to get images that are not copyrighted, but I'm not going to go through all that because I don't really have time here. We go to Google Images and we talk about housing market crash, and we find something that that one's, how about this, right? Housing market crash. And because of the way this is laid out, I would rather have something vertical. So how about, that's still not very vertical. I'll stick with this one. And I save the image. I put it someplace where I can find it. And then in this, what I would do here is insert an image from the computer, that one, and in it goes. And I might even have moved this into here. Now, once we've done this, and I would be, I might make it smaller. Once I've done this, the reason I'm doing it in a table is that I can have an image on one side and I can have text on the other side. And it'll keep it together, even if it's being read on a cell phone, even with the margins moving back and forth. So, and I would just create another block for the next thing. And then once I'm done with this, I'm going to highlight the whole thing and get rid of the borders, right? I'll just make the borders here be invisible, right? I'll change the color of the border to white, in which case you won't be able to see it. And then once I've got it, now I have images and I have text next to each other, wired together, borders are gone. I copy that. I can paste that into a blog. I can paste that into an email, into Gmail. I could paste that into KVCore's email. It'll take the formatting. It'll stay that same way. And it makes a nice looking, something I could send out, right? You see what I mean by horizontal? This would look better if the picture were more shaped for the box, or that it matched, but I was just doing this, one of the things that I do sometimes is if we move it over and we resize it, right? We can, you get the idea, you can play with it, but that's the way of if you've got text and images to create a marketing piece that you can paste into something. All right, I've gone on longer than I was supposed to. Thank you for making it to the end, those of you who've made it to the end. Next week, we're gonna have 2 sessions, including something about using KVCore, but I'm also gonna be doing something about what you can do to market. We're gonna be focusing on ways of getting sellers. If you are not in my coaching program, not with EXP, and you'd like to find out more, reach out to me. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye now.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Goodbye, everybody.